Hey everyone, it's Christopher here with another episode of What's Brewing, and we're here for part 2 of our interview with Josh Carlson. But before we get into this video, let's roll that beautiful B-roll. Josh, thanks for sitting down again.
No, thank you for having me.
When we last left off and we talked about everyone being able to get and connect with their elected official, how open do you make yourself available to connect, or what things do you do to connect with your constituency?
All right, so everyone's different, but I try to be as accessible as possible. So during my campaign, I put my cell phone number on all the cards I handed out. People said I was crazy.
That's a bold move.
But I was waiting for the odd phone calls in the middle of the night. Fortunately, I've not received those yet. But I wanted to communicate, hey, I am open and available. I think at local government, you should be. Yeah. And it really, I think it communicated a lot to people. Yeah. And so, people text me all the time and I'll try to respond as quickly as I can. I kind of developed that philosophy years ago. I was in high school and wanted to set up a meeting with our then parish president, Joey Durrell. I emailed him at 9:45 on a Friday night. I figured, one, he's gonna have a secretary get it Monday morning, and I might not get a response. I'm a high school kid, he doesn't have time. Yeah. I got a personal response from him at 10:05.
Wow.
And for a person who is a successful business owner, parish president, obviously has more important things to do than to meet with a high school kid. For him to personally respond and set up a meeting and CC his secretary to set up something, I kind of, in my mind, decided, when I run for office, I want to be accessible like that. Wow. And it's not always a kid, right? Sometimes I'm on vacation or I'm with my family, but it's not like I'm going to get an email and then a week later respond. I'm going to respond as soon as possible because I want to address people's concerns as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I think people, when they think of government, a lot of folks have a natural aversion to it. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people feel very strongly about government and elected officials. And to some degree, there's this level of distrust because, there's been, of course, over the years, and you watch a lot of movies that are based off of this. There's a lot of scandals or things that were less than above board. And I think aiming to be transparent, available, that is something that obviously someone modeled to you. It left a huge impression on you because it's, I hate to say it, but it's one thing when it's just a regular person. And I think you qualify that when it's someone in a position of authority who has a lot going on to balance, to take the time to respond. That made a huge impact on you, and I think you're paying it forward. One of the most impressive things living in Broussard is the Meals with the Mayor that they do once a month with Mayor Bork, and I think that is fantastic. He has a level of approachability that I was shocked in a good way, and a level of humility and just down to earth that really made an impression. Obviously, I know you, and so I already felt that way. But for those who don't know you, it's good to know that that's the kind of persona and that's the kind of person you're trying to be for those who've elected you in office and you serve.
It really is. And, for me, more than a specific policy decision or point of view, I told people, I said, I want to restore trust in local government. I think the government that is closest to the people should be the most responsive because it's your neighbor, right? You live next door. I don't know where my congressman lives. I don't know where obviously we know where the president lives, but I'm not going over to his house. But my neighbors see me cutting grass and they see my kids playing. My kids go to school with him and I'm shopping with them. I wanted to take that community idea and bring it back to local government as it should be to help restore some trust, because I think most of our conflict in government, especially at a local level, doesn't come from a disagreement on policy. It comes from that taking what's happening at a state and federal level and applying it locally, and it's completely two different things. And so I wanted to restore some trust there at the local level.
If you were to say to someone, a two-part question. Number one, if I were to ask you, what could we do for you? Now I know the whole ask not what that spiel, right? But as citizens, as members of the community, as members of the parish, what do you need from us to be successful?
The biggest is information and input. As you know, I can only make the best decision with the information that I have. And when we're looking at making changing an ordinance or allocating money in a certain area, if we have 3 people call out of 250,000 people in Lafayette Parish, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to vote your gut and your conscience.
Right.
And that's what our system is. I can't vote everybody else's, right? Because there's a million different other opinions. And we should elect someone that most accurately reflects our values and viewpoint. But I want input from people, because maybe I should be approaching this from a different area. Maybe you're going to bring a thought that I hadn't thought of before, and it's going to change how I'm looking at something. But if we don't hear from anybody, then that can never happen. And so you'd be amazed at how few people come to a meeting or get involved. And I get it, people are busy. But the more people that can get involved, the better.
And that's why I asked that question, because I think a lot of people don't feel heard, but they also don't actually connect and share things. That's to me why the Meals of the Mayor and the fact that they do, and at least in Broussard, they're doing coffee every Friday. I have made an effort to go to those things, to listen and hear what they're doing, to listen to people ask questions about things that, oh, I was concerned about that, and I just didn't want to be a nuisance, but they had really great answers and they're very receptive. And I think it's important for us to understand that sometimes what we do is not only vote for you, but then say, here's what we're thinking, because that ultimately helps to shape, and it cannot be a retroactive opinion after a decision's been made. We have to be proactive and to some degree get informed, get involved. And that requires that idea of citizenship is also sacrificial, because to be a citizen, it's a privilege, it's a right that we have, but it's a privilege. And I think we have to get involved and connect and talk to folks like you about how we feel.
You're right. And it's also a responsibility.
Yeah.
And, I'm a big believer in the idea of federalism, right? And we've, as a country, have really gotten away from that. The idea that the federal government should do very little and few things. And at the state level, we should do a few more things. And then at the local level, we should do a lot more things. And I think that with that right and privilege and that responsibility, I think the more people that we get involved in local government, it goes back to the idea of we the people. We the people form the government. Well, if we the people are removed and we're not paying attention to who we're electing and what they're doing, holding people accountable. If I say I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and I do A, B, C, well, then you need to come and make a big deal about it and not vote for me again.
Yes.
Because otherwise that reinforces the idea that, well, there are no consequences to the decisions that you make. You can do whatever.
You're giving permission for them to keep doing it.
That's exactly right. And the next guy to do it because he learned from the guy prior to him.
Well, one more second half of that question, and one more question we'll wrap. What gets you up in the morning to do what you do?
So you said it, because we both have an IT background, and I believe this is indicative of life in general, regardless of what industry is, you're in, or what you do. It's service, right? For me, that's rooted and grounded in my faith, but I want to wake up every morning and serve people. I think we make our city, our community, I think we make the world a better place when I've never focused on making money in my job. I focus on serving people. And if I serve people well, I'm going to make good money. If I don't serve people well, I'm not going to make good money. Same thing in government. I wake up and say, how can I meet the needs of the people that I represent? And if I do that well, I don't have to worry about being reelected. It's going to happen. And so I want to see, okay, how can I find somebody or connect somebody who has a problem to the answer or solution that's there. I want to serve people. I want to give to people. That really what drives and motivates me.
Well, it's obvious, just knowing you on a personal level and seeing what you're doing, that is true. And it was really great to sit down and chat with you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
One more thing, and then we'll go. For those who want to get more involved and want to know how to find you and other elected officials, what are some resources where they can figure out how they can connect to their elected official?
You can email me at joshcarlson@lafayettela.gov, or you can find me on Facebook. If you search for Josh Carlson, Lafayette Parish Council, the page will come up and you can like and follow me there. And I usually post updates and have ways that people can connect that way as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, this was fascinating. Understanding how our government works and getting to know the personalities in it, I think, is incredibly important for all of us as citizens here in Acadiana and around this area. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps the channel immensely. Press the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with everything we are producing. As always, we hope you're doing well. We hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you in the next one.